Anyway, that was a blast from the past. Before I continue, my favorite part of the clinic is upon us. The workshop is upon us. Question and answer time. We've given out sticks. Now it's time for my set of zildjian symbols to the first question. Okay, time's up. Just a regular first question then. No symbols. Sorry. Yes, in the back.
I was curious, are your bass pedals canned or are they?
These bass drum pedals are ones I brought from home too. When I got here, they had a set already set up, and it had a great DW pedal on it. It was a single chain DW pedal. These are the double 5002 DW pedals, double chain. I always get confused between the accelerator and the what?
It's all set cam for the accelerator. It's the teardrop.
Yeah, I've got the regular old half moon. What's that called?
That's the turbo.
Turbo! Thank you. It's the turbo. There's the turbo and the accelerator. There's all these names for all this equipment. You've got the turbo, super hot drive. But yeah, I've played DW pedals ever since I was with Maynard's band, actually. I took the first DW double pedal out to road test it. And it was a pedal that Don Lombardi had just made. And it was held together with cotter pins instead of the keys. And I took it out on the road in 1982, and it worked great. Before that, I had played something called the Zalmer Twin. Anybody remember a Zalmer Twin? Rand would know about the Zalmer Twin. Anyway, that had a coil. Sometimes you'd hit the left foot and it would, as opposed to. So anyway, the DW double pedal is a revolution, and I just think they're the greatest. And yeah, that's what it is. It's a turbo. Good question. Any other questions? Got a room full of drummers. Got to have some questions. Yes.
I was flipping through the channels last week and caught you on PBS with ELO and Jeff Lynne.
Oh, thanks, man.
Great show, and I love ELO, and Jeff Lynne's got a great voice. You followed a lot of the drum parts from the original music. When you get hired for a band, like, would you listen to all the songs and kind of get the feel for the music, what they play?
What a great question. I knew two things about Jeff Lynne. I knew that he was a stickler for tempos, and I knew that he had some great albums, and they were very well played drum parts, but I knew that he and Bev Bevan, the drummer, had some kind of falling out over who had the name. I mean, it's pretty hard to think who had the name to ELO. Let's see, who sang all the songs? Who wrote all the songs? Who started the band? But sometimes egos get a little flared up, and they had a falling out. So I knew that these were great parts, and that he liked the parts a lot. But I knew that he really liked tempos right, and he busted on the ELO that was releasing albums behind his back on tour, and he didn't approve of the tempos. They were playing them, like I said about a lot of other bands except the Foo Fighters. They played them too fast a lot of times. So when I went to the first rehearsal, I just started on my little metronome. We were going to do, oh, telephone line, give me some time. And I had my little click going. And Jeff said, what's that? In a Birmingham accent, what's that? I said, oh, it's my little click track. I like to start every song off at the right tempo because this was a schmooze move. I said, nothing bugs me more than playing tunes at the wrong tempo. I like playing them at the record tempo. He looks over at the original piano player, Richard Tangi, and goes, I said, yeah, all right. And so then what I had done, just like the David Lee Roth stuff, I charted it took me like a week because there was like 28 songs, something like that. There's also a DVD of that called Zoom. It's that whole thing on DVD, and you can have all the 28 songs. My brother Matt, again, playing bass. But Rosie, his girlfriend in there, the blonde, they just broke up. I don't know how much he'll be re-releasing that video now. But anyway, I wrote out all the parts exactly right, because I knew that was what would be best. You know, people knew those beats and those grooves and those fills, so I wrote them out, tried to play them exactly right. And two great things about Jeff Lynne. He never, ever said, oh, it's speeding up or it's slowing down or anything, because he knew I was on top of trying to keep it at the right tempo. But he never complained about the parts, because anytime someone would say, I'm not sure that's the right beat, he'd say, he knows the beats, he's got them all written down. So it really helped, you know. He was on my side. And then 9/11 happened, and no tours went out. And Jeff Lynne, the kind of guy that he is, he paid, this is unprecedented in the music history, in the history of music, at least from my end. He paid the whole band, the tour was canceled, he paid the whole band for the full tour. Wow. How many leaders would do that? And I called him, I said, Jeff, hey, you know, you don't have to do that, man, nobody would do that. thanks, but you don't have to do that. He says, oh, it's the least I could do. I feel horrible. Thanks, So I got to work and collect the old mailbox money, so it was great. So Jeff Lynne, let's have a hand for Jeff Lynne. And he was super great, and that kind of led to the Ringo thing too. In fact, Ringo, when he saw my drums, he says, you play Mapex drums? He says, all me grandkids play Mapex. I said, really? Because his son Zach plays drums in The Who. And Mapex, they're big in the US, but they're even bigger in England and all over the world. And so, yeah, they got them the little beginner kit sets, and they have Mapex all over the place. So, anyway, good question. Any other questions? Yes?
Greg, during the time frame where Billy Sheehan was out of the David Lee Roth band and your brother came in, I mean, what happened? Why did Billy
Sheehan got fired from David Lee Roth's band just because he's a leader. Billy's a leader. He went on to form Mr. Big. Dave's a leader. The two sometimes just, two leaders, too many cooks in the kitchen. And so he just